Welcome back, my dark beings, to the dark void, ruled by me, 951, and we're back to another random reactions. Just to let you know, it was freaking hot today. I couldn't close my doors. I had to wait like at night, just like literally at 10. And right now it's like 10:40 something right now. So I had to wait until like right now before. It was like freaking hot. So, and even then my door is still open. So if you hear anybody outside my hear anybody else during this video, it's because of that. Also, I took a nap again because it was freaking hot. Seriously, trust me, it's freaking hot. So yeah, if you hear any noises in the background, it's because my door is open. So I have no choice. I got like no air conditioning here. And before you say, I do have a window, but that like sits towards the sun, and it's night, and I don't want to see what's out there when it's night here. So it's kind of a yeah, it's a pain. Either way, it doesn't matter. We're back to another VTuber. Sorry, not VTuber. That's the next video. That for another random reaction. Today we're going to be watching CrowdStrike, the real men test in production. The truth about the CrowdStrike disaster. If you don't know what happened last Friday, I didn't know what happened. Thankfully, it didn't hit me. But last Friday, I heard about this. Is that basically the entire world basically fell apart? Well, not fell apart. I mean, basically, so much basically electronics fell basically got destroyed, or well, I could say not really destroyed. It's just they need to repair them. But so many electronics that would had the same thing on it, literally basically shut down. Like hospitals, food places, airlines, you name it, anything that involved basically Windows with CrowdStrike. Basically everything's like got shut down. It was insane. Thankfully it didn't hit me as far as I know. I don't know why it hit me. Maybe I was one of the lucky ones. But for the people that didn't, my god. Heck, airlines, people had to wait like for multiple hours and days just to freaking get on their flights, which basically ruined their plans. Thankfully some people did only got 2 hours, but my gosh, imagine if you're just there and then all of a sudden it just takes days just to get everything running, just to get you off the ground again. I hope that nobody were flying that. Oh, actually no, I hope that people managed to like land safely when they're in flight, and I hope the hospitals did manage to like still keep stable at least. But oh my god, the thing. And this is and when I was thinking about this, I actually thought about this like a day later, like 1 or 2 days later, about this, how dangerous, how much we are connected, and how much we're relying on basically each company's like are relying on on one contract for each company to keep their stuff safe, because CrowdStrike is like a cybersecurity company, and basically Windows basically had a Microsoft Windows, they're about the same, basically had supposedly have only one contract with them. So I will give my 2 cents here at the end of seeing what could be done to basically prevent this. Which does let you know I'm not techie, I'm not tech head, so this is just a person's perspective of what they saw, of what they could at least do. So if I'm wrong about this entire thing, so be it, but I just think that a person that has no idea, like it's not tech, it could like give like at least some input here. So let's get started. It's by Firesnip. Oh, freaking, I forgot the name. I will leave the link down below. Sorry for whoever made this. I will leave the link down below for anyone to see this video, but not my beautiful voice. So let's react to what happened, and oh my god.
Last Friday, the world finally got the Y2K experience it deserved when millions of Windows machines went down thanks to a bad update from cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. 8.5 million to be exact.
Oh, there
but
it is.
Now the plot is thickened, and multiple theories for why this actually happened have emerged. A, was it just a silly mistake? B, was it actually a cyber attack being covered up? Or C, was it a false flag planned centuries ago by our multidimensional lizard overlords?
I believe that.
In today's video, we'll try to find out what really happened by taking a deep dive into the technical details. But first, here's a crazy detail you need to know. On April 21st, 2010, at approximately 1400 hours, a McAfee antivirus update accidentally removed the Windows Service host file and knocked millions of computers running Windows XP off the internet, causing many of them to go into an endless reboot loop. The blue screen of death shut down critical services around the world. That was 15 years ago when Justin Bieber was only 16 years old, but it's nearly identical
that was
to
back
the
before I have
CrowdStrike
the internet
disaster
back in
going
my
on
house.
right now. Here's the crazy part though.
Wait,
the CTO
no,
of
that was
McAfee in 2010 was none other than George Kurtz,
oh
the
my
CEO
God, are
of
you
CrowdStrike
serious?
today. That's quite the example of failing upwards. Now, he did just lose $300 million in paper wealth, but most importantly, we now know the embarrassing truth about how the CrowdStrike disaster actually happened. Almost. It is July 22nd, 2024, and you're watching the Code Report. The creator of C++, Bjarne Stroustrup, once said, C++ makes it harder to shoot yourself in the foot, but when you do, you blow your entire leg off. And we should have listened to him. CrowdStrike released an official statement explaining what happened.
Come on, you guys. There it is, right there in front of you the whole time. You're dereferencing a null pointer. Open your eyes.
Oh yeah, this is back.
The CrowdStrike
back
Falcon
when they basically did anything
that
over
sits
there
in the background on your machine, looking for potential security anomalies. It contains a driver, which is the thing that actually executes code, along with a bunch of channel files, which are basically just config files that contain rules about new potential attacks that the sensor can look for. These files are not kernel drivers and can be updated on the fly. And when CrowdStrike pushed an update to channel file 291, a logic error caused the entire system to crash. Now, normally, when an application crashes, it only breaks that application running in user land or ring 3 in the CPU protection ring. No blue screen of death required. But CrowdStrike is a unique piece of software that runs within ring 0 or kernel mode, the most privileged zone around the CPU, usually reserved for process scheduling and direct hardware access. Ring 0 is an area that normally only Microsofties are allowed to touch, and in order for any third party to run code here, they must receive a WHQL certification from Microsoft to verify that your code won't break 8.5 million devices and shut down the global economy. The CrowdStrike driver was WHQL certified, so it sounds like it's Microsoft's fault. Well, not so fast. What's unique about CrowdStrike is that they can make updates to those config or channel files dynamically. In this case, the driver had some kind of issue reading channel file 291, causing the entire system to fail. That's pretty much all the detail we have from official sources, but luckily there's a guy on the internet who's a professional C++ programmer and provided a breakdown that went viral. His hypothesis was that this was a skill issue where some engineer coded up a null pointer trying to access a memory address that doesn't exist. A simple rookie coding mistake that could have been fixed with an if statement. This tweet got a lot of traction, but since then it's been community noted, and another security researcher explains that this code is reading pointers from a table in a loop and some are invalid. Perhaps an error parsing the configuration file left some entries uninitialized. What's kind of crazy here is that it looks like the driver code has actually been broken for a long time, and this one config file was the straw that broke the camel's back. We may not know the full truth until there's a congressional hearing, but it looks like some developer there wrote some bad code, said works on my machine, but then made the horrible mistake of deploying on a Friday. But we can't blame this one person. Programmers write bad code all the time, but a failure like this should never reach production. The Falcon sensor is not just some crappy to-do list app. When software operates in the critical path like this, there should be multiple layers of protection, quality assurance, continuous integration, staggered rollouts, and so on. It's absolutely insane that this wasn't caught by some automated process before it killed 8.5 million computers. Heads need to roll for this, but it's not the person who wrote the code. It's an organizational failure, and it's not the first time Colonel Kurtz has been connected to a worldwide outage. He knows that real men test in production and is willing to die on that hill. The thing is, this company sells a very expensive product that very few people understand, and if you want to have an exotic car collection like this, your enterprise sales team is your highest priority, not your software engineering team. Those nerds. Therefore, the most likely root cause of this disaster is just a lack of quality control at the company CrowdStrike. But another theory floating around is that this wasn't an accident, but actually the work of a foreign spy who infiltrated the company, or perhaps a rogue employee who wanted to send a message. A message that it's time to switch to the Rust programming language for Windows driver development. But the conspiracy theories go even deeper, and some think this failure is so egregious that it was actually pre-planned in advance. The World Economic Forum has made predictions about a worldwide cyber attack, and CrowdStrike is a World Economic Forum partner. This was all just a test run for the real cyber attack, scheduled to happen on August 12, 2026. Most of us will already be dead by then, but if your goal is to write robust kernel drivers on Windows, you'll need to know how to problem solve like a programmer. And you can start doing that for free thanks to this video sponsor, Brilliant. Problem solving is a skill that you keep forever. Brilliant's platform will introduce you to essential programming concepts, but most importantly, the hands-on exercises will develop your brain.
Well, that's pretty good. Alright, well, I guess that's about it. It's just the rest of it, it's just hold on. Is there anything else left? Do you know? I'll just let this run. Let's see. I think that's about it. Yeah, I'll just let it so that way he can get some
to recognize and solve complex problems that developers need to overcome on a daily basis. Best of all, every lesson is concise and rewarding. But by investing just a few minutes each day, you'll develop habits that can level up your programming skills for the rest of your life. And you can do it anywhere, even from your phone. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for 30 days, visit brilliant.org/fireship or scan this QR code for 20% off their premium annual subscription. This has been the Code Report. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
The future of your business is here. With Wix, you get advanced AI.
I really gotta stop letting these videos end. I mean, I should let them end, but still, I hate it when I have to deal with ads at the end. But anyway, yeah, I have to say that was pretty. I have to say it's pretty kind of sorry, my brain is still trying to wake up. Still, what the heck? Oh, okay, didn't need to see that. Or do I? Anyway, doesn't matter. Either way, that was a pretty good video. What happened? I mean, seriously, everything went down the whole series. It's just, and plus the 3 threes. Yeah, it could have been a sabotage. Could have just been an idiot, some idiot that didn't know what to do, or it could have been like a mass-produced plan by the deep state or something, or at least the overlords or whoever's ruling us, whatever. Either way, by the end of this was just a massive blunder by this company, CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike, and they just said sorry with this. Really, man, you literally just basically legitimately ended the world for just a moment. And thankfully, not everybody had like this kind of thing. But unfortunately, Microsoft is like the biggest thing with Windows right now with almost everybody, and having this happen is such a terrible thing, especially considering how everybody relies on this now. We're so interconnected these days that this kind of thing should not be happening. Which is why I was thinking about this one day, and I was going to give you my 2 cents that this fun. I'm not techie, just to let you know, I'm not tech head. I like this video. Fantastic how it basically explains what the heck is going on. But I have to say things on my 2 cents here that, not for this video, just this first video, but I think that when I was thinking about this, that we need to have like these companies need to stop relying on just one source of protection at this point. Now I know it's probably going to be difficult. It's more likely it will be difficult to basically rely on multiple companies, but at this point, I hope after what happened, that many companies who were relying on just one sort of processing cybersecurity thing to keep their stuff safe, they need to have multiple contracts, at least one other company with them to basically keep them safe. For example, if one company like, well, for example, CrowdStrike fails in this one, basically makes this entire thing fails in doing this, the other company could maybe a backup and come in and basically download the thing onto the Windows. Now I don't know how long it would take. It may be more difficult. It may take even more difficult than what I'm basically saying, but heck, it may be even more difficult than what I'm trying to simply say, that to just basically have another company waiting and just download a patch and just be ready to just take over the company for the time being, at least for the time being, because this kind of thing should not happen, especially when it could potentially be lives on the line here to basically, he said casualties, but that's more like computers casualties, but like I said, it could be lives on the line here. I don't know who's basically passed away during this time, but the fact of the matter is that many companies need to start thinking to rely on other companies, have contracts with other companies to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen. Like I said, if, for example, one company basically fails, it basically causes this kind of catastrophe, since everything is interconnected now, another one needs to be there to be ready to basically pick up the slack, so that way it doesn't get a mess. Now, of course, that it's much more simple than I'm making it. It's much more simple than when I'm saying this, but more likely a tech head will probably explain more better, saying that it would be much more difficult just to basically get everything up and running the way that I'm explaining it, because I'm not a tech head. I'm not techie here. I'm just saying that if there is a way for companies to have at least another cybersecurity company waiting on the sidelines to take up the slack, to pick up the slack if a company, for example, CrowdStrike, basically does something like this to basically cause such disaster, to basically cause a disaster to the world. Now, of course, thankfully, it wasn't that big, and everyone's, as far as I know, people are safe now, and it wasn't as bad. But if a company like CrowdStrike fails to do this, another company needs to be right there to be ready to come in and basically do some cleanup. For example, to download a patch to basically make it so that everything starts going on right now. I don't know how it works. I don't know how anything works. I mean, it did say that it just reboots the system on this thing constantly, and then there will be no way to fix it, or something else. I have heard that basically some tech heads need to go in to remove the files personally to these systems just to remove everything, which I heard it's gonna take weeks before this is all working. But I'm just saying that there needs to be at least a backup company ready to take up the slack for basically another cybersecurity company's mistakes. Like I said, to prevent something like this to happen, this is just my 2 cents here, we need at least 2 companies, one the main one and one a backup, to be ready to basically be there to basically pick up, to basically do something to make sure this doesn't happen. Now, like I said, this may be more difficult than I'm making it out. I'm thinking it's supposed to possibly be easier. I know it's going to be difficult, but it may be more difficult than what I'm saying right now. It may be, it's going to be like, download a patch, or just make sure everything's ready and everything, but it may be more difficult. So somebody let me know how difficult it would be for another company to be here to be ready to take over the slack, or it would be impossible. Because literally, if this kind of thing should not happen. This kind of thing should be basically preventable if another company is there ready to basically pick up the slack to prevent this. If, like I said, I'm trying to explain here, but it's difficult for me because, like I said, I'm trying to think as like a random person, just a regular non-techie. Is that if a company, fails to protect basically the world's stuff, like cybersecurity, and for that moment, another company needs to be there to help pick up the slack when something like this happens. That's what I think. Because imagine what would happen. Because literally, this isn't just a problem for. I already said that it was happening with everybody. I mean, imagine if the military were like doing something, and then the computer decided to basically accidentally launch something. You know what I'm talking about? Actually launch something by accident, because you have to realize in the past there have been computer errors where they almost basically doomed the world. I'm not joking. And imagine if that kind of thing happened, and that's the worst case scenario. But you have to realize this computer thing could have just accidentally just caused a worldwide havoc even worse than it is. Like I said, one simple glitch could end everything by unintentional means. Okay, that's about it. That's why I have 2 cents here. But like I said, I don't know how difficult it is to make it so another company would be a backup company, because literally because you got to remember, people who use computers all the time have backups at least of their files, to make sure if anything happens they can just reboot the system. That's what I'm just saying. Like, if a company basically fails to put up cybersecurity like this, another company needs to be there to prevent them, to be a backup, to help prevent anything from falling apart. And in fact, like I said, if it at least something, because right now they say it's going to take weeks. I'm saying that if it's going to take weeks, another company could be able to finish this off in like a couple days and a couple of hours or something, so that way this doesn't happen. Like I said, a backup company could be very useful, but it may be more difficult than I'm making it sound. Like I said, I'm thinking as a regular person. That's what I'm saying. So if you think maybe having a backup company alongside look at the main companies that are basically being paid, who basically are being relied on, is a good thing, let me know in the comments. Or do you think it'd be impossible to do? Because like I said, trying to make it so that a program going onto a computer that already has another program would make difficult. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys have another idea, because this is just a basic sad situation. Thankfully, I didn't get hit, but even still, if this kind of thing happens, it needs to be preventable. Something needs to be happening, because the last thing we want is to have everyone to basically have to suffer like this. And the last thing I want is to find out, and the last thing we want is to basically, how do I'm trying to describe it, is to find out that this kind of hardware accidentally does things that was not supposed to happen. Like I said, military contractors also have Windows sometimes as well. I don't know how many military militaries and governments have this, but the last thing I want is to find out that they are suffering from this, and this program unintentionally does something to launch or to change things that could basically be dangerous to the rest. Basically, very dangerous to the rest of the world. Like I said, computer glitches happen, but the last thing we want is basically having what this happens right here in the background. Seriously, we do not want this to happen. Alright, that's all I had to say. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about the situation. Did you guys get hit? Are you guys safe? Were you planning to do anything before this hit? Were you planning to go on a trip? Were you doing something on your computer? Anything. Let me know down in the comments if you basically had to deal with this. And let me know what you think about the ideas here. Do you think it's a good idea to have another company be ready to take over the main company temporarily, so that way they can be able to fix this? Or do you think it's impossible? Or is there impossible because having one company try to program and then having another one try to make sure to reboot the program isn't too difficult? Let me know in the comments how difficult it is or how easy it is. I don't know. That's about it. But for right now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Comment, subscribe down below if you enjoyed it. And also, don't forget to also subscribe down below to join my Dark Army. Because I really need some tech heads over here in the Dark Army. We need them to help us out. To make sure we don't start, causing catastrophes on the Void planet. Last time we need that. We do that on other conquests, not on our planet. I already done enough conquest on my planet. Yeah, I conquer all the worlds. Either way, like and share the video. And also don't forget to press the black bell to be notified, because you know how YouTube channel is. She doesn't bother. It's a pain. By the way, that's about it. And for right now, my dark techie minions dismissed.